Air Canada flight attendants will be holding protests today at Canada's busiest airports as the clock ticks down for the airline and the union to reach a deal and avoid a strike. The Air Canada component of CUPE says flight attendants will participate in what they're calling a day of action. This is going to happen in Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver, and Calgary's international airports. Those will start at 1 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Mountain, and 10 a.m. Pacific. So for more on how the day is going to unfold, we're joined from Chicago this morning by Barry Eidlin, labor expert and associate professor of sociology at McGill University. Good morning.
Good morning. Good to be back, Anne-Marie.
Not on strike, and we've seen similar demonstrations during previous labor disruptions. That includes when Air Canada pilots protested during their own negotiations last summer. The union, here's what they've asked them to do. They're going to show up at the airport in uniform. They're going to stand silently. This is what it looks like. This is their day of action poster. What's the strategy behind this visual representation?
So it's twofold. I think number one, it's an escalation tactic in the negotiations with the company. This is a show of unity, a show of strength. They already had their 99.7% strike vote. This is another pressure tactic to get the company to get a taste of what might be in store if they don't come to the table and negotiate a fair agreement. So that's part one. Part two is informing the public and enlisting public support. Flight attendants interact with the public on a day-to-day basis, but I doubt that many Canadians are aware of the day-to-day working life of the flight attendants that are serving them on these flights, and particularly are probably unaware of the core demands that they have at the heart of the negotiations, which is that they only start getting paid when the door of the plane closes. So all the time greeting them, getting them seated, getting their luggage, making sure there's space overhead, none of that is getting paid. And so, I think it's, most Canadians probably aren't aware of that. For employers, time theft is a cardinal offense that can lead to firing. And I think they're probably thinking, why should workers have to put up with that?
CUPE says that Air Canada services are not going to be affected, but thousands of flight attendants are expected to show up for events at those 4 airports. So could that lead to any service disruption at airports? Or again, is this just a visual demonstration?
Primarily, from the union side, this is a visual demonstration. Now, there's no telling what the company's response could be. They could say that there's some disruption, but the goal here is really to show it's a silent protest. It's a show of force to visually represent the unity of the flight attendants. It's not at this point to actually disrupt flights and disrupt travel.
CUPE says that today's day of action is a direct response to where things stand at the table. What do we know about where the discussions are this week as we look ahead to Saturday, which, if they can't reach a deal, is when the strike will start?
Yeah, so I'm not privy to the internal dynamics of the negotiations. I will say that these types of negotiations where there are these really core issues that are at the heart of the business model, are difficult, and the parties can seem very far apart, and it's these pressure tactics that create the context where a deal can actually be made. But that often only happens at the very last minute. So it seems like they're far apart until they're not.
When you go to Air Canada's website this morning or click on the app, you're going to see a little bit of a notification saying things are still working as usual. The earliest CUPE can issue the strike notice is Wednesday, and then if that happens, the earliest the strike could start is on the weekend on Saturday. What's your sense of the chances of a deal being reached in time to reach a strike, if you're going solely on what we're seeing play out in the public between the two sides?
Yeah, I think, like I said, these are tough issues, and this contract has lasted for 10 years, right? So there's a lot of issues that accumulate over a 10-year contract that need to be addressed. And now they have this core issue of, being paid for the work that they do, even when the door is open. And so that's going to take a high pressure situation to actually reach a deal. Oftentimes they're managed to eke something out, but in the current context where employers haven't been used to actually meeting workers' escalating demands, it's quite possible that we could see a strike.
Yeah, just going to Air. I mean, we're waiting to hear a response maybe from Air Canada today if they choose to give one. But here's what's on their website. A strike vote is a normal part of the negotiating process. It does not mean any disruption will take place. They go on to say there's no possibility of labor action until at least August 16th. So that's the only response we have from them so far. Barry Eidlin, I know you're down in Chicago, so thanks for joining us this morning. We appreciate it.
Happy to be here. Thanks.
If you like that video, make sure to subscribe to the Your Morning YouTube feed, where you can find all kinds of new content posted every weekday morning.